point conversions. Take a look at this. In 2 games against the Rams this season, Sam Darnold threw 6 interceptions, just 2 fewer than what he had against every other team he faced this year. Additionally, Darnold threw just 2 touchdowns, and his total QBR dropped significantly when playing the Rams. Back here with CC, Jeff Saturday. Sam Darnold struggles against the Rams. How big of a deal is that heading into the weekend?
It's a huge deal. I mean, you're seeing games. You saw C.J. Stroud and what he, how good that Houston Texans defense played, and it wasn't the quarterback can't put you behind and create problems for your team in the playoffs. That's the bottom line. And so Drake May put the ball on the ground, which kept him in the game. This is a big deal. And you think about Sam Darnold and how the Seahawks want to play. They want to limit the exposure. Now, can he do it? I fully believe Sam Darnold can do it. Can he make the play? Can he score? Absolutely. But their style of winning reminds me so much of Philadelphia last year. If they can play great defense, if they can run the ball, and it's exactly what they did against San Francisco, right? They ran the ball 13. I think they threw it 17 or maybe less. And so they didn't ask a lot. Now, you still have to be efficient. You can't put the ball on the ground. You can't turn it over. But they don't want this to be a shootout with the Rams. They want this to be a game that they play it tight to the vest, play it tough, be physical, be dominating. And the truth is the Seahawks were committed to the run the whole season. They weren't efficient at it. They have gotten efficient at it. I mean, Walker has been lighting up. I know Charbonnet is gone for the season because of the ACL, but this team got very efficient in their run game. They're going to look for that against the Rams because Chicago was efficient in the run game. Not great, but efficient, which limits the exposure on the QB.
CC, is it a small sample because it's just 2 games, or is it a big problem considering it's the same team he's been struggling against all year?
No, I'm not worried about it, and I think in large part because Sam Darnold exercised those demons in overtime in Week 16. And you said that Seattle doesn't want to get in a shootout with the Rams. Why not? They already won a shootout with the Rams. Matt Stafford in that game threw for 457 and 3 touchdowns, had one of the best games of his season. Yet, in the fourth quarter and overtime, that Seattle Seahawks defense shut the faucet off. 3 straight and a 48-yard field goal that got pushed wide right in the fourth quarter, which ended up opening the door for Seattle to push it to overtime.
A lot of mistakes made.
Sure.
And a 2-point conversion that no one knew was a 2-point conversion. It took 3 minutes to figure out it was a 2-point conversion. I appreciate that, but let's keep some perspective on that.
Let me help you out with this one, Jeff.
Okay.
And this is what you told me earlier in the season.
Oh, you better Stephen A. me.
These are your words.
Here we
not
go.
Mine.
All right, here we go.
More important than turnovers in today's NFL is explosive plays.
That's a fact.
No team has a better explosive play differential than the Seattle Seahawks.
True. That's true.
All right? They're good at creating explosive plays, and they don't let the opponents have explosive plays.
That's true.
So when it comes to their ability to be able to generate explosive plays, when it comes to their ability to be able to create negative plays with takeaways, turnovers, and their ability to force opponents to be one-dimensional by stopping the run, number 1 defense when it comes to opponent yards per rush, the Seattle Seahawks present a lot of problems for the LA Rams. So I know we frame it as how concerned are we with Sam Darnold. I'm not concerned about it because I know the team that Sam Darnold is bringing to the party. And to me, it's much more complete, much more balanced than what Matt Stafford and Sean McVay have at their disposal.
Stephen A., jump on in here.
Miss me with all of that. I ain't trying to hear none of that this morning. None of it, CC. And I'm going to tell you why. All of those things could be true. It's still coming down to Darnold. It's still coming down to Darnold. Now, I was on TV yesterday, and I said this. Sam Darnold against everybody else in the National Football League over the last 2 years, 28-4, 57. I'm just saying, 57 touchdown passes, 30 turnovers. All right, a 103.6 passer rating. 4 games against the Rams, he's 1-3.
Yeah,
1-3 with 8 turnovers, 6 interceptions. I'm just telling you, this year, 6 interceptions, all right, in the 2 games. I'm looking at it coming down to Sam Darnold. I think that Seattle's going to make some noise. Their defense is obviously going to neutralize the run. Williams is going to have a long afternoon in all likelihood running against this defense. I got it. You got to believe in Jigba and others are going to get off. You understand that, okay? But I watched the Los Angeles Rams team that put up 37 points in Seattle, that accumulated over 500 yards of offense in Seattle. I'm saying NFC Championship game on the line, pressure breaks pipes. It's the same Sam Darnold who played against the 49ers is that, brother. I mean, and really, how much pressure was on you? You beat them 41-6. You know they couldn't do but so much. Debo ain't there anymore. You didn't have Kittles. Ayuk ain't there right now. He hurt. All you had was C-Mac and Jennings. You weren't going to be able to do but so much against Seattle anyway. You got Los Angeles now with Devontae and Puka and the crew. I got to see what Sam Darnold's going to do when you press his back against the wall because an opposing team is going to score some points. I got to see it. Let's see what happens.
Stephen A., why was round 3 of 49ers Seahawks in Seattle in the divisional round?
Because they lost the regular season finale.
Okay, but the biggest reason why they lost was a third down completion for Sam Darnold down the stretch to ice the game. So let's not frame it as Sam Darnold being some passenger on Seattle's team. This dude has
I'm not saying that.
He's been playmaking all season long. In that game that I talked about, the last game that he played against the Rams, which Seattle won, he outplayed
They ain't trying to have him as a passenger.
Hold on, let me finish.
The Rams want him driving the bus, and they want to see what's going to happen when the weather's in the way.
You're saying you trust Matt Stafford more, and I'm telling you, in the fourth quarter and overtime of the last matchup they played, Sam Darnold outplayed Matt Stafford, the presumptive MVP.
That's regular season. That's regular season. That's regular season. I ain't going by that. Listen, let me ask you this question. You see Sam Darnold last year against the Rams? In the playoffs when he got sacked about 9 times? Did you see him?
But, Stephen A., that's what you're anchoring on. You're anchoring on Sam Darnold and what we saw last year against the Rams when he showed you something completely different throughout the regular season this year.
Well, you anchoring on what you see this regular season.
Yes, because
I'm saying the players are different. You know.
You go back to what happened when the Detroit Lions cooked them in Week 18 of 2024.
Are the playoffs different,
And guess what? And
you would know.
Well, he gave you something different. He won his first playoff game last week. He's done something that you've never seen before, which is him winning a playoff game.
Hold up. He threw 17 passes.
Yes,
and he didn't have to throw a pass in the fourth quarter.
Agreed.
I got it.
Okay,
but that is reflective of the team that he has around him.
I agree with that. This is what I would say. My biggest concern of the Seahawks would be him playing poorly will keep the Rams in this game. If you look at his 2 games against it, you and I both know it was a very improbable win that they came back and beat the Rams the last time they played them. What were they down? 16? I forget what they were. They were down significant. Yeah. Everything went their way. And again, he did play well to make that happen. My question to you is this. They would not have been in that game if it wasn't for mistakes that are made. The issue in the playoffs is if your quarterback makes mistakes to keep him in the game, to keep the Rams in the game, that is trouble for you. He plays a clean game. Seattle's a better team. You and I both, if you stack them up the rest of the way, you would feel like they're the better. The difference is, will Darnold play mistake-free football and be smart with the ball and protect?
Listen, my biggest concern about the Seattle Seahawks ain't Sam Darnold, it's Zach Charbonnet, their short yardage goal line expert back being out. You're talking about somebody with 12 touchdowns on the season, not having him for the rest of the playoffs. That's a big deal.
We're going to leave it there. That was great stuff. One thing I'd say that's in Darnold's favor, Rams are limping in here. They had to empty the tank against Carolina. Then they had to empty the tank in overtime in Chicago. That's a lot to put on a team. And then you're going to Seattle, who had a bye week, and then also kind of got to coast through the Niners.
Yeah,
it's a great spot for the Seahawks. Maybe we're laying the points.
So that's another excuse for Stephen A. not to believe in Sam Darnold.
I did not say that. I am moving
catching the wounded Rams.
Fernando Mendoza.
I don't think it's a lack of belief. I don't think it's a lack of belief. I just want to see him do it when it counts.